You heard some screaming, but whoever was screaming isn't here, and this strange guy and Darren are kind of looking down into the water.
Oh. That was the wrong place to click.
Yeah, it happens.
Uh,
The strange man turns to look at you. I'm gonna just say, Darren, do you say hi or anything?
so do I turn and see Jacob?
I just sort of catch up and I just see him standing over the edge. I'm like, what's going on?
Wheel round, point my gun at him. Oh, what the fuck you doing here? What the fuck?
Who's this? Says the other guy.
A friend, kinda. His name's Bob 3.
Bob, what? Bob.
Fuck you
The man
doing
introduces the man introduces himself as Samurai Bob.
Sorry. I thought just put a hand out. Just sorry, Jacob.
Shakes your hand and then looks into the river.
Do I see the ring in his finger?
He's wearing it.
So if you say yes, do I make a perception check?
I mean, is Jacob wearing the ring or did he put it away somewhere? I'm assuming he's probably wearing it.
I'm assuming I'm wearing it, yeah.
Ain't that the
Then
ring
yes.
you promised that we'd try as soon as we got back to town?
Did I say that? I don't remember if I said that.
Yes, you did.
I mean, fair point. I did forget about that.
What's it do, says Bob.
Magic shit. Fuck
That's
it.
a pretty good explanation, he says.
Yeah. Fuck it, I
I would
get
take
it.
it off and hand it to him.
Darren looks at the rings. Nah, you keep it. You're gonna need them all than me, I think.
Bob is, he's opened his rather large backpack and is proceeding to take apart his rifles and stick them in it. I assume we're jumping in there, he says, looking down.
Unfortunately, I think we are. Unless we climb down that rope of mine.
I mean, one way or another, we're ending up in there, he says,
That we are.
pointing at the river, which seems like it has a... Alright, what are you using for light right now?
Lantern.
Your lantern?
Yep. No,
Bob
no.
has...
So Bob threw a glow stick down there.
He did, but it got carried away by the current.
Okay.
Yeah. Bob has some sort of light-emitting device that Jacob sees. It is a flashlight or a torch, if you prefer. But Jacob has no idea what the fuck it is.
I just see that it's emitting light. I'm just like, well, okay, fair enough.
That is his magic light stick. I don't rightly know how it works.
Fair enough.
Bob looks like he considers explaining it, but decides just not.
Yeah, he's already tried with Darren.
He's tried explaining multiple things to Darren, and it just
Darren
hasn't worked
understood
out.
some of it. The stuff to do with guns, he understood.
I just sort of look at him and just like, I'm assuming it's complicated.
Yeah, he says.
Fair enough.
It has a... To put it in a framework you might understand, it has a source of power that lets it emit light, he says. But
fair enough.
That power will eventually run out.
I'm assuming I wouldn't have any specific idea of anything like this.
I mean...
Do you have engineering?
Bob just straight up tells you, you know, if you want to consider it magic, just go ahead.
It's a magic light stick.
Anyway, he points it down at the water, which is about 30 feet down. Jacob notes that they have, like, put a spike in a rope, which is now leading down into the river.
And also Darren is completely topless.
Oh yeah, he's covered in blood.
Not his own.
Bob, what? No, a bunch of it is his own. He got stabbed down to like 1 hit point. If you recall,
Was that this one?
Yeah, yep.
Okay, I did use...
Remember when you were fighting all those cultist type people in the tunnels? Yeah. You used your
feeling
You're healing
flesh wounds.
to
That's
get,
it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're fine now, and Bob is looking at you kind of oddly.
Yeah, I'm not bleeding anymore, but I'm still covered in blood.
Is the rope tied well?
Yeah, it seems tied well. No idea what's down there though, says Bob. But the boy you're looking for, he's down there.
Yeah. Bob, do you float? Or you gonna sink?
I'll be alright, says Bob. He puts his rifle pieces in his backpack. You got anything that isn't waterproof, he says?
I'll do. Hand him my guns.
I hand him the magnum that I have, the revolver or whatever it is.
Alright. He puts your stuff in his fairly sizable backpack.
It's got to be fairly sizable for an 8-gauge shotgun, a sharp 52.
Yeah, he's looking at those like his guns were capable of being taken apart.
Yes.
I think you should just hold on to that, and I'll take your shells, he says, thoughtfully. We can dry it up and oil it once we get out of the water. Yeah. I suggest you secure it to yourself rather well, though.
I mean, I ain't got no more rope.
I
Can I have some of y'all rope down?
Yep. I will just sort of hand him the end of it and just let him take off as much as he needs.
Okay. I'll take all of it. No, joking. I take as much as I need to secure the guns to me.
Bob is just kind of staring worriedly into the water after he's packed the stuff away. Well, sure you want to do this, he says.
No, I'm not, but see this or that other thing.
Yeah, you're right, he says. I don't want to be in Dodge right now.
I didn't mean that. I meant the girl. That other thing.
He says.
With the town.
I just sort of look at both of them, just like, I'm assuming this is not a good thing, so I'm gonna just.
Yeah, it is a tentacle monster of some sort.
Yeah, it was back the other fork. Whatever it was not impressed with being shot.
No,
and
it was not.
Took the girl, he says.
Oh dear. Well, we are wasting oxygen right now and landing oil. So Jacob, after you, use the guy with the knives. So.
Fair enough. I will start climbing down the rope.
All right. It's only 30 feet, so you can make a climbing roll. It'll be at a plus since the rope is secured.
It would help if I had the sheet open. That is generally useful.
It is a good idea. I wish there was a better way to read character sheets on this table, but it's such a pain to look at tiny text in this.
That's a success.
All right.
6.
You climb down easily, and you touch the water with your foot. You notice it's rather cold, and there is indeed a pretty strong current here. You can't see very far off down the tunnel because it's, well, except for Bob's light shining down near you, there's no light source.
I'm assuming we're just following the current.
I guess so.
I don't see what else we can do. They went down that way, he says.
Okay.
So.
And I will sort of just jam a knife into, like, let myself go slightly and jam a knife into the wall to hold myself until they get down.
All right.
So Darren's gonna crack the glow stick that Bob gave him, extinguish the lantern, put it in Bob's backpack, put the glow stick in his mouth, and then climb down.
I hope it's tough enough to survive, says Bob.
So do I.
Bob waits for you both to climb down.
Okay, make a climbing roll. That's 11. That's a success by 1.
Well, you don't fall in. You two, you reach the end of the rope, though. There's really nowhere else to go but the water.
Guess I go into the water.
All right. Bob starts climbing down once you let go of the rope.
I sort of put an arm out, so if he wants to not go flying with the current, my arm's there for him to grab onto.
Can I touch the floor, or is it deeper than?
It seems deeper than that.
Okay. In which case, I hold on to Jacob.
All right. Bob reaches the end and looks at the rope. Guess we'll leave it here, he says.
Yeah, it's a shame, really, but I guess we need to get out.
I could try to yank it off, he says.
I mean, how are we gonna
How
get
would
back
you
out?
feel about losing? How would you feel about losing some of it? But that would also mean not having it to get back out.
I mean, we ought to lost some
We
of it.
We ain't getting back out here, says Bob,
Right
gesturing at the current.
Yeah.
There's
Good point.
it's too strong for you to swim back against.
Alright,
This
Fair enough.
is a one-way trip, says Bob.
alright then. Try yanking it off, I guess.
But
He
yeah,
flexes his muscles, and you hear the ping as the spike pops out, and he falls into the river, holding onto the rope. The current sweeps him away.
Can I try and grab the other end of the rope?
Dex check.
Dex check. Draw dex. Okay. Oh, that's 9. That's success by 4.
Yeah, you managed to grab it.
Also,
However,
I'm holding on to Jacob as well.
the
Mhm.
current
So
is strong enough that the two of you need to make strength rolls to hang on to each other.
Alright. That's
Bob
not
is heavy
very good.
too.
That's a good roll. That's a 6. That's a success by 6.
success by 3, 4, 4.
You managed to cling. Bob is at this point holding on to the rope.
Imagine just hearing a slight pop from my shoulder holding the knife.
It's this is difficult, and you're not going to be able to keep it up forever.
Jacob, you ready to let go?
Bob has his light in his hand and is kind of shining it down. He's like, I can't do shit down here. So,
Right, 3, 2, 1, yank.
right.
Just yank the knife out.
All right, Darren, do you hang on to the rope?
I do.
All right, Mackie, Jacob, is he still hanging on to Darren?
Yes.
All right. You all hit the current and get swept away quite quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, God.
This water, the water is fucking cold too.
Mm-hmm.
It's like Disneyland.
Make me some swimming rolls.
Well, I'm not very good at those.
11. That's a success by a bit. If I could find my mouse, that'd be amazing.
Hey,
Success by 1. Probably
success
not.
All
by
right.
4.
All right, you're good enough at swimming at this point that you realize possibly the easiest and safest way to go down here is feet first and kind of on your back,
Mm-hmm.
in case you
Just
run
log.
into in case you hit a rock or something. Yeah. I don't know if you've ever been in an underground tunnel, River.
No. Surprisingly.
I have.
Once, a very, very long time ago.
It was pitch fucking black and kind of scary.
Oh no, mine was one of those like lit ones. Like you get people at the extreme sports parks and whatnot.
I went down one that these people had discovered in Australia, and it was literally like an underground cave system with a river running through it for a good chunk of it. And when the lights it was interesting.
Mine was lit because it was just an extreme sports park.
Mine is happening right now in my head.
All right, yes, you're traveling at a good clip. About a couple minutes go by as you pretty safely tread water, and then you hear Bob say, "Oh shit."
What?
He waves the light wildly, and you see that the river is going under the rock. There's no air. You're being sucked into a river.
Well, that's not good.
That ain't good at all.
Yeah. Bob ducks his head down and disappears.
Fuck it, Darren, fall
I
asleep.
sort of just
This is gonna be bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
doesn't
assuming you
have-
grabbed a good breath.
Darren doesn't have breath holding. This is all breath control.
I mean, swimming
Okay.
will function here.
Okay. That ain't good either.
You take a deep breath and then go under, and wow, you can make a check to try to hold on to the rope still.
Yeah, why not? Oh,
Both, yeah.
Is that
I
5
know what
cocked?
he's-
Is that 5 cocked?
I'd say that's cocked.
Nope.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, be rolling.
Oh, that's not good. That's a fail.
All right, yeah, you lose your grip on the rope.
Oh no, that's probably
Jacob, go ahead and make a strength check to see if you can hang on to Darren.
Success by 1.
Yeah, that's not good enough. You get dragged into some sort of like the current. You can't even tell which direction's up or down.
No.
You're being
We're
just
basically
like
in an underground maelstrom.
Yeah.
Yep. You can make me a swimming check.
Oh,
Both.
Both of you.
come on. Oh,
Ooh,
that's
that's a
a
fail by
5.
one.
That's a 5. Success by a fuckload. Success by
All right.
Fail by
7.
All right, you do manage to keep your breath, Jacob. Darren's all right, although you can't even tell which direction's up. You get swept and careen off some walls. Not that hard. You get some scrapes though,
Just, ow.
especially Darren, since he's still shirtless.
Great. How much damage do I take?
No, it's just minor scrapes. It's not really a big deal.
It's flavor, not actual damage. Yes.
Yeah.
That's my favorite sort of damage.
You suffer from knee damage.
Mm.
All right, this goes on for a seemingly long time. I don't know if you've ever been stuck underwater, like in a undertow or whatever.
It feels a lot longer than it is.
Yeah, I got caught in undertow and bounced off the ocean floor for a while, and I don't know how long it was. It felt like several minutes.
I got caught in a wave once, and that was bad enough. Just kept rolling around.
Scary.
Oh, I just got a notification that the food I've just finished eating is on its way.
Wow. Maybe they'll send you a second order. All right, so
That'd be great, because it means more.
yeah,
more
this goes on. You get battered, and you're desperate for breath, and then all of a sudden you go over an edge, and there's like you're
Oh, no.
in a waterfall,
Oh,
and you free fall
shit.
for what feels like several seconds before you slam into some more water.
Oh, lovely.
You get a brief glance of.
Is there enough time in the fall to take a breath outside of the water? Do we get flung out of it? Yeah.
Yeah, you have enough time to take
There's enough time to take another breath. That's all right.
And then you slam into the cold waters below.
Do we struggle to get out because it's oceanated water?
Yeah, go ahead and
Oh,
make a
fucks.
swim check.
Why did I ask that question? That's a good roll. That's a 7. Success by 5.
Hey, 8. So success by 4.
All right, you all bob to the surface after what feels like
Especially
longer.
Bob.
Yeah.
No, Bob just floats because he's got flotation devices in his legs.
Well, I mean, yeah, his name's Bob.
You never know what Bob has.
Oh, don't.
All right, yeah, you come to the surface and you're in an enormous cavern. Like, I'm talking, it looks like you can't see the other side. Bob still has his light and is kind of shining it around. You see, even without the light, though, that in the middle of the cavern, there's what appears to be like a town. You can see buildings. It seems like some sort of floating village.
It was sort of.
Actually, it might be bigger than a village. But they have lights there, and up ahead of you, you see a boat skimming towards the city.
Okay.
And
So away from us, or
away
parallel
from
to us?
you.
Okay.
Make a perception check, Darren.
Oh no. Darren's bad at these. That's a terrible roll. That's a fail. No? Yes, it is. It's failable 1. Is it? Hang on. 9 plus 3 is 12. Yeah, no. Failable 1.
Bob says, Jesus Christ, I don't want to do that again.
Yeah, you and me both.
Yeah,
Ow.
I agree with that. That was no fun.
He waves at the boat. That guy you're looking for is on there along with some of those weirdos we were fighting.
Who the fuck is driving that thing?
Some woman, he says.
Does she look like one of them?
No, she was wearing like robes and stuff.
I
Maybe
don't know what the fuck that is.
maybe some sort of priestess or something. She had, I don't know.
Oh,
He
fuck
shrugs. Looked like religious type robes to me.
no. Great.
Also, the boat, no one is paddling the boat, it's just going.
Well, ain't that
Okay.
just wonderful?
It heads to the city, or large village, or whatever the fuck it is. It's kind of hard to tell from here.
It's a small town.
So,
Yep.
guess we better start swimming.
Yep, says Bob.
Great. My favorite.
He's using his backpack as flotation.
Darren just lies on his back and goes, yeah, this is the life, ain't it?
Think they'll send a boat for us, he says.
Part of me hopes they do, part of me hopes they don't. I'm not sure how to feel about this place, these people.
There is at least light in here, and again, it's the I didn't describe this to Jacob, but there's some sort of like fungus or like lichen that's emitting a like dull light. So it's not
Okay.
fantastic light, but you can see to some extent. And the whatever the town or whatever is, they've clearly got like lights there. You can see lighted windows and things from here. It is a bit of a swim, though. Bob encourages you two to just take your time and borrow his backpack if you need to rest for a bit.
Yeah, Darren's not pacing it or anything, he's just gentle pace.
Yeah.
Breaststroke.
No, he's literally
Yep.
just floating on his back, just gently kicking every now and then. just floating as much as possible.
It is cold, though.
Oh, yeah.
Alright.
I'm
You swim.
actually making sure to swim just so that I'm moving to keep warm.
Oh, yeah, Darren's moving enough
Yeah.
that, blood circulation and all that.
Alright. It takes you a good half hour to draw close to the place. And you're getting fucking tired and you're freezing.
Pull out a small tin from my pocket and grab a cigar out of it.
In the water?
No, once we get out.
Yeah, okay. As
I
you
pull out a little tin, hold it above the water, and pull one out.
as you near the shore, you see a group of women watching you. "Oh, get them the boat," says what appears to be their leader. "How did you not notice these? Were they not with the other ones?" They help you out of the water.
It wasn't. Do we hear this, sorry? Do we hear this?
What she was saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it was not with the other ones, but thank you anyway.
Yes, well, it's been long since we have seen travelers. What, after they help you out of the water, what brings you here?
The others do. Or one of them, anyway.
Now I pull out the cigar.
We have taken them to the jail, she says.
Why exactly are you taking them there?
Oh, the white cultists cannot be trusted.
I agree with that. But there was a bar with them that is not a white cultist.
Yes, he was capable of talking to us. We have brought him, I guess you could call it an inn, she says, shrugging. We don't really have an inn, but he is guesting with someone who has room.
Right. Is there anywhere back up? Is there anywhere back up to the surface from here?
No. How did you get down here? She says.
Oh, we fell from the sky off top of the cabin. Or waterfall, some shit, I don't fucking know.
So you came the same way as the others. She looks suspicious.
Yeah, we was chasing them because they stole the boy and we want to take him back.
Hmm.
Shit, we left the
Well,
girl. Bow, we left fucking go to that thing.
yes, we did, says Bob.
You an
He doesn't look.
asshole.
I told you I was, says Bob.
Darren opens his bag. Are there any whiskey bottles left? Intact?
One.
Oh my god,
The other ones are a shattered mess.
This is... I'm so unhappy right now.
Your bag also reeks.
It always reeks, it's Darren. Pulls out the last remaining whiskey bottle, pulls the cork out, just takes a swig.
Bob hands you a broken lantern.
My fucking lantern's broken as well. My god,
That was a bit rougher than I was expecting, says Bob. Well, says the woman, do we have your word that you will not cause problems while you are here?
I might end up shooting ball, but it's fine. Apart from that, no, nothing.
We would prefer violence not happen on the town, she says.
Alright, I'll take him out in a boat and shoot him out on the river. Lake. Whatever the fuck it is.
Bob is now looking at you. Oh, you will you? He says.
I don't fucking know, I doubt it. I might, but I doubt it.
I was really hoping the response of, well, I don't have to put my gun together.
Bob has removed a kind of vaguely bulky pistol and a smaller pistol and puts them in his belt.
Can I tip the water out my shotgun and the rifle?
Yep.
I do so.
What are those? Asks the woman.
These are guns.
I don't know what those are, she says. Are they weapons?
No, these decoration pieces. They don't want you to use on each other.
Make me a body language roll.
Oh, that's a good roll. That's a 5.
I just sort of give him a bit of side eye as if saying,
That's success by 5.
All right, well, she rolls a 16, so she's like, okay. Note that you have no ammo in the guns right now.
Oh no. Oh, no.
I'm also assuming since they asked about the guns, they probably noticed something I'm wearing.
I mean, yeah.
You know, the belt of, what is it? Is it 2 or 4 knives? I can't remember. Was it 4?
4.
Yeah.
Yeah, she sees those, but doesn't look particularly worried by them.
Okay.
They themselves have knives. A couple of them have swords.
Yeah. It's just that when she asked them about whether or not they were weapons, I was assuming it was a thing of, you're not allowed weapons.
Yeah, that's what I assumed. That's why I lied.
Yeah.
I imagine unknown weaponry would probably...
that's more that her concern was that there's some sort of weapon she doesn't understand. All right, she says, well, you're obviously freezing. We should get you to the house with the person you seek.
Please.
Please be aware that we have rules here. Those who cannot follow the rules are put off the city, she says.
Is there a list anywhere?
Yes, there is, but I don't... walk with me, she says.
Okay, fair enough.
The other women kind of fall in.
So
She tells 2 of them to stay there and keep an eye out for more strange people.
Can I just interrupt quickly? You got a tailor in town?
We have people who make clothes, yes, she says.
I'm kind of cold, and I'm sort of missing a shirt right now.
Yes, we'll get you to a fire to warm up. Come with me, she says.
Darren follows.
Yeah, same.
Well, she didn't say fire actually. She said get you somewhere warm.
Okay.
So yeah, you walk through, and it is indeed kind of a small city. There are even some small towers. It's fairly busy. You see quite a lot of people, but all of them are women. They're all dressed rather alike in robes.
If only Darren was
Some-
with us.
Some carry blades, but that's about all you see weapons-wise. And she leads you to a rather large house. Come in, she says. You'll be guesting here.
Thank
The
you.
rules that you should know up front are no violence is to happen unless it is approved.
Okay.
You'll
How
be
would one go about getting approval if
Yeah.
needed?
Who approves the violence?
I do, she says.
Okay.
So if we have any need for it, we should come to you.
Yes.
Okay.
Although you shouldn't, she says. The city itself is safe and no one here will attack you.
I'm not saying we should, but if it does come to that.
We will have to discuss what to do with you, but we will let you guest here for a time, she says.
Fair enough.
She points at the waterfall. There's no way back up that. We did not know it was an entrance to begin with.
So how did you get here?
Oh, we have lived here forever, she says.
Where are the men?
We have thousands of years of history here.
Where are the men? Darren says a bit louder, making himself heard.
We found we had no need for them. Caused too many problems, she says.
Then may I ask how you have so many generations?
How the fuck do you reproduce?
Magically, she says.
Right.
Ah, fair enough.
We have learned how to survive without men, she says, giving you a look.
So they're worms, basically.
Something like
They
that.
just split.
It's essentially asexual reproduction, she says.
They're the dinosaurs from Jurassic Park, right?
Yes, we've found many men to be too problematic, including those fish white cultist things.
Why are you going to do all that?
I'm afraid we must put them off the city, she says.
I mean, could you not just execute them instead?
What about approved violence? I say with a slight smile on my face.
That is essentially what will happen. They will be ejected from the city soon, she says, and they do not seem to know how to swim.
Huh.
I mean, I was
Perhaps if we are feeling merciful, we will give them a small boat to take, but she shrugs.
I mean, I was thinking something a bit more direct.
Shrugs. I am not terribly concerned about their safety, but there's probably no reason to just execute them, she says. They would harm us if they could, but they are weak.
Well,
we have met their kind before. They tend to worship.
They did kidnap a boy. Is that not?
And a girl.
And a girl.
And they tried to feed a girl to a monster.
Shakes her head. They worship Thylothrop, she says.
I'm assuming I have no idea what the fuck that is.
Large tentacled creature, she says.
Oh yeah, that's a god. Oh shit.
More of a demigod, she says.
Yeah, still, that's probably why I didn't die.
Occasionally it swims these waters, she says, gesturing.
Right. I guess that's why it got the towers down.
The
towers?
Oh, yes. We keep an eye out. It generally avoids us. We have our own faith to protect us, she says.
Oh, who do you believe in now?
Perhaps we will talk about that later. Anyway, she brings you into a back room where there's almost like it's a pool, basically. Here, take your clothes off and hop in here, she says. You can see the water steaming slightly. It will warm you up. Best not to let hypothermia set in. You probably have no idea what the fuck she's talking about.
Nope. Half a what now?
Yeah, sickness from being cold too long in the water, she says.
Oh, okay.
Bob slides in.
Darren will follow suit. Take his clothes off and slide in.
It is warm. It feels wonderful.
Just a pool of grime floats off Darren.
Yeah. Well, no, most of that was washed off in your
Oh, yeah.
tunnel
Good point.
journey.
His hands are still
Along with
covered
some
in
of your skin.
Yes. There's still the perpetual blood on Darren's hands, though.
Rest here a bit. We will bring a meal and let you talk to your friend, she says.
Yes.
Yeah. Guess for frown. I guess. I don't know.
That
What is your
great.
relationship to the young man?
He is the nephew of our employer.
Oh, she says. All right. Well, we will have more time to talk. Stay in here for a few minutes while we gather a meal. And you rest in the extremely warm and soothing waters.
Yes.
A younger woman comes in after a bit, tells you that food is ready.
Thank you.
You got anything for us to change into? Or wrap around ourselves?
We have no real men's clothing, but you're welcome to take some of these robes.
I would have just left my stuff on the side to dry while we were sat there.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's
does it
still
dry all the
soggy,
time?
but it's still soggy. Bob shrugs and puts one of the robes on. It comes down to about his thighs.
I'll do the same.
Yeah, Darren follows suit.
How tall is Bob?
He's about 6'1".
He's
It's
taller
the
than
same
Darren.
height as me then.
He's taller than Darren. Darren's short. Or
It's the
shorter
same
than
height as Jacob then. So it's about the same amount down on Jacob as well.
Darren's
Yep.
like 5'11", so.
You
About your
do
knees.
you did see some of the women carrying weapons. Some of them were larger than others, but
I will, instead of tying it off with the belt that comes with the robes, I will tie it off with my belt.
all right.
Yeah, Darren will do the same, and he'll also get divine justice from Bob.
Yeah, Bob hands it over.
And the ammo as well. Oh no, he doesn't need the ammo. He's got to split the ammo. He'll put his bandolier on with the
Do you
magic.
have one of those belts? I was about to say, do you not have one of those belts that has like the bullet loops in it?
No. He's got the bandolier with the enchanted bullets though. So put them on.
Okay.
Put that on as well.
Yeah. I just have a belt with holsters on it, like a belt with scabbards on it.
Mm-hmm.
That was the word I was looking for. Well, no, scabbard is a sword, isn't it? Sheath.
Yes.
Yeah. Bob has put his guns in the bag. He's not visibly armed, except for his knife.
Mm-hmm. Darren has his knife on him as well, because that's on his belt.
Yeah, most of the people in town are carrying knives of some sort. A lot of them look more like utility type knives than fighting knives, but they're definitely, you would guess, some sort of like, if they're priestesses, some of them are clearly like the martial arm of their religion.
Mm-hmm.
They're wearing like slightly different outfits and move like they've done some fighting.
Mm-hmm. Are any of them carrying? Sorry, did Darren notice? Were any of them carrying missile weapons?
No.
Okay.
No projectile, so it's all melee weapons basically. Or like, have they got like bows?
Nope.
That's a missile weapon.
Oh, okay, fair enough. I misunderstood.
Do you ask about those?
No.
Do you ask about their weapons?
No, don't bring it up.
Alright.
I was
They
hoping
bring
they'd
you.
be priestesses of an earth, but if they're not using missile weapons, I doubt it.
No. You can feel some sort of presence. Darren can, but it's definitely not enough.
Okay. Please don't make Maui. Please don't make Maui.
They bring you to another room, which is rather large, has a pretty big table, and they're serving some sort of fish stew. It appears to be largely seafood and mushrooms. I'm not sure if this is the fare you're accustomed to, says the leader, walking into the room, but this is what we have. I hope you enjoy.
I mean, food is food at the end of the day.
Thank you.
She has a seat at the table and eats with you. The nephew comes in. Did he have a name? Did we ever give him a name? Because I
No,
don't
you
think
did
we
not.
did.
Nope, he was always the sheriff's nephew. Oh, they were always the sheriff's niece and nephew.
All right. Time for a random name generator.
Please not another Bob or Fred.
No
Frank,
more
I swear to God.
Bobs. No
Jeff.
more Bobs.
His name's Jeff.
Ent names.
Oh,
No, I
fucking
don't think
Jeff.
so.
Yeah, okay, I get that now. How do you spell that, son? Well, that's a bit ambiguous. Jeoeff.
It spells it Geoff.
Or Geoff, just Jeoff.
Mm-hmm.
No, Jeugh.
This is the worst generator.
Geoff.
No, it's
His
like
name is
enough.
Guillermo.
Yeah, mate.
Geoff.
There is a Wild West name generator on Fantasy Gen.
We don't even need that. It could be.
Okay.
Generate me a name. Name is Belfad.
That sounds weird for this time period.
He looks very surprised to see you. How did you get here? He says.
Same way you did,
Unfortunately, the
boy.
same way you did.
Hey,
Oh, no.
How you doing, son?
Well, I haven't been eaten yet, he says.
No.
These ladies appear very kind. He sits down at the table. He looks a little bit worse for the wear. Clearly his nerves are rattled.
Mm-hmm.
He asks you what happened to his sister.
Oh, she's probably been eaten.
He doesn't look surprised, but he starts crying.
Oh, God.
Was she eaten by that monster?
No, she's eaten by the white dudes. White guys.
This news does not make him feel better.
Son, pull yourself together. Go. Bigger things to worry about.
My sister, he says. The leader introduces herself. I am Adaru, she says. And this is the city of Shram. We float across the underground lakes.
I'm assuming it's not a city name that I've heard of.
It looks ancient to you. This whole place is built of stone. You have no idea how the fuck it's floating.
I was about to say, how the fuck's it floating?
Yeah, Bob, you ever heard of this place before?
No, it says. Could be after my time. Could be before my time. I honestly... There have been vast underground caverns and tunnel systems that just burrow through this continent, he says. Some of them, as I told you, there have been a few apocalypses. Some of these used to be on the surface, he says.
Excuse me, Asharu, was it?
Adaru, she says.
Adaru, my apologies, man. How many apocalypses have you seen thus far?
Says, I
I mean your people, not you,
two,
yourself.
probably 2, she says. Are you including the current one?
Fuck it, why not?
Then possibly 3?
Bob, how old does that make this place?
I would guess 8,000 years, he says.
Well, you've seen how far, did you say?
Yes, something like that, he says. There may have been some even in the more distant past, but I'm aware of at least 5.
Right.
The last one, he says, I was not here for. I don't understand where I was.
Jacob just sort of sits there and just goes, I'm not even going to ask.
Whatever someone did, he says, glancing at Darren, brought me back from, I don't know, limbo, perhaps?
So
I
basically,
was aware of of long passages of time with nothing, he says.
so basically what y'all saying is that whoever did that brought you back from the dead.
Essentially, he says.
Right, so basically you gotta thank them for your life then.
Well, we'll see how the life turns out, he says. So far,
We're eternally grateful.
so far, things have been rather mixed, he says.
You ain't never gonna let me forget this life. Fuck you.
So, says Ataru, you come from an even more ancient time, she says to Samurai Bob. He nods. There's very little left of my people, although I'm aware that there are still ancient ruins somewhere down here where my people lived. There may be more things, more of our artifacts still down here somewhere. He looks at Jacob. Your people have forgotten practically everything my people knew, he says.
Well, unfortunately, we're not very good at remembering things, most of us.
Yes,
And
says Adaru.
stuff like
These,
that do tend to just disappear.
these world-changing events, says Adaru, tend to have far-ranging effects. The last one was a war of the gods, she says, that got them banished from the planet. Perhaps the plane, she says.
How exactly does that happen? How the fuck do the gods get banished? Who banishes the gods?
Eventually they did, she says.
So who's the last one then?
They walked the earth, you know, she says.
I have
So
heard.
if they banished themselves, why?
They were at war, she says.
I understand banishing each other, but why would the last person left then banish themselves?
Oh, there were many of them left, she says.
Then what?
She names
sorry,
off a few, such as Bal and Malway and Aneth.
My apologies. My apologies, but why would the few left then banish themselves?
Oh, all of them were left. They cannot truly die, she says. No, they made an agreement after they shattered the world that perhaps they should not be here.
Okay, so there was a agreement. Okay, sorry,
Yes.
I was just thinking that in a conflict you don't just kick everyone out and then leave on your own accord as well?
Yes, well, they had left, she says, although, yes, but now they have returned. Although they are not walking the earth as they used to. They're if one knows how, one can talk to them, she says. She gives Darren a look.
Yeah, I sort of side-eye Darren for a second and just like, yep, no.
Yeah, Darren's now covered up, so you can't. No. Are his
And
arms
he's got the
exposed?
mark on his...
They would have seen it when
Oh,
he
no, I know,
got...
but still, right now. What is
Well,
exposed?
no,
What skin's
no.
exposed?
Just your neck and face, really. Your
Okay.
feet, legs. They gave you some sandals to wear.
So how far does the rope come down his arms? Because like he's tattooed down like his elbows.
Well, since you're shorter, it actually does cover your arms pretty much.
Okay.
Bob's and Jacob's arms are sticking out a bit more.
Just
Maybe
covered in scar tissue.
She looks at Darren and says, I sense that you are one that talks to them.
I mean, I might do. Every now and then. Occasionally. Sometimes. Once in a while. You know, sorta.
She gestures at your Z tattoo.
Right.
That looks familiar, she says, but I cannot place it.
Yeah, it was not something I wanted to have done.
Hmm. Well, if you care to explain it to me, you may, but I will not press you. Now that you're here, she says, after you've all had something to eat, they bring out some wine as well.
I just carry on drinking water.
Darren drinks the wine, obviously.
Yep. Bob has some of the wine too.
Yeah, I just drink water.
Hey, this ain't bad, he says. What the hell do you make it out of? Oh,
You
we
say
grow
fish,
things,
I
she
swear to
says.
God.
I almost did, but
It's
no.
fucking pig testicle wine.
Fish wine.
Fuck the fish
Darren
wine. No, I'm leaving right
Darren
now.
had a good time with fish wine.
Oh yeah, an amazing time.
Steve's still mad about it.
Oh yes.
What, 8 months later?
Oh yeah. Fuck you and the fish
See,
wine.
I can't have that problem.
No, the wine's pretty good. She explains that underneath the city that you can see that they grow things below.
We've got a fucking underground vineyard.
Yep.
How the fuck do you grow below when you're on the water?
The city extends below where you can see, she says.
Well, on the water.
Yes.
How the fuck do you breathe now?
Oh, there's no water in those areas, she says. Think of them as caverns that are not flooded.
Think of it like the bottom of a boat.
Something like that, she
The
says.
water is kept out by
Yes.
the bottom of the city.
You're standing on the deck right now, she says.
Darren's face is beginning to glaze. He doesn't know boats.
He's been in a boat that you
Yeah.
can tell kept out by the sides of it. That was basically the gist he was going for, is the edges of a boat keep the water out.
Oh yeah, no, he gets that
Like
bit, but it's like when it starts getting technical, like deck.
That's
Darren
Our jail, for instance, is down there, as it is hard to escape. I do not think we will want to hold on to these worm folk, however.
You can't exactly tunnel out of it.
Sorry, what was that?
You can't exactly tunnel out of the jail.
I mean, she says, no, not barehanded.
But even still, you would just be tunneling out into water, would you not?
Yes, and that would cause issues.
The second even a small hole is opened, jail floods.
She says, yes, that would happen, and these underground caverns that we have are separated from each other so that if one floods, they do not all flood. I would explain how that works, but I feel that probably a bit much for right now.
Fair
She
enough.
stands up. I have things to attend to, but if you have questions, she brings a younger woman in. This is Lorsha, and she can tell you about what happens here.
I do have one question before you go. Are we free to
Of course.
explore the city?
Yes, she says.
As long as it sticks to the rules, yeah?
Yes. Lorsha here will show you around if there are places you would like to see.
What do you use for currency?
We do not use currency, she says. Everyone here works to support each other.
Okay, so we're strangers and we don't necessarily, we ain't done much for you.
No, she says, but you also have not harmed us or anyone else, so you are welcome to stay here for a time.
So if we were looking to have clothing repaired, such as, and I'll just sort of grab my jacket and show like the holes that have been punctured from like the sides of the cavern.
Yeah.
I'm assuming when you said we got scraped and bumped around, there's probably a couple of like gashes in the coat and stuff.
Yeah, quite possibly. Your
So
stuff's kind of beat up. Oh yes, Lorsha can help you with that.
Thank you.
We do have not stores exactly, but people who do crafts and generally things are traded.
Okay.
For instance, if you were someone producing food, you would be given clothes by the clothes person in exchange, basically.
Okay.
It's not exactly a barter system, she says. Everyone is just expected to do their part.
That's fair enough.
But we have everything here from, agriculture to art.
So when you say agriculture, you got leather here?
No, she says we grow something like cotton to make our clothes from.
Right.
Down here, there's no... Well, okay. There are potential sources for hides, she says, but that would require leaving the city. Things can be dangerous out there.
I mean, what if... Have you got the facilities to town? Hides?
What, she says?
You got the facilities to town hides.
Oh no, she says.
Alright.
We can color our clothing. Indeed, you've seen people wander around in various different colors.
Yeah.
Sometimes the people here wear a color that reflects what they do, but other times, people just wish to be festive. She herself is wearing a deep blue robe with a yellow sash. It's well made. You wouldn't exactly call it super stylish.
Mm-hmm. So basically, what I'm asking is, if I produce a skin or hide of some sort, would you be able to process it in such a way, turn it into leather?
She shakes her head. No, we do not have what you would call a tannery, I guess, she says.
Alright.
Down here, the things that you're likely to encounter, well, you met the tentacle beast. Occasionally someone kills something like that, and it can be used for clothing.
Oh, I'm sorry, something like that. So you're saying there's more of them?
Oh yes, she says.
Oh shit.
There, she says, She goes and she has a small bag. She pulls a scroll out of it and puts it down on the table. This is a map of the areas we know, she says. We do not generally leave this particular place, but it is possible for us to. She shows you that there's like...
She can show down everything she likes. Darren can't
yeah.
wait.
Well, he can see like basically,
So the way you've
it's
ruled
a
it up
map.
to,
It's a map of lake and waterways.
so the
You
way
can at
you've
least make that out.
so the way you've ruled it up to now is that Darren can't read maps. Full stop.
Oh yeah, he didn't learn.
I can.
Well, all you can you can tell where she's pointing at it, saying these are large caverns with lakes. Some of them are occupied by other cities. She says we do sometimes go and trade with some of them,
Looking
but
at the map, do I see anywhere that could possibly be somewhere that might lead out?
no, there's nothing on the map like that. She uh, she asks you if you have a map of the above ground.
Do I?
Bob does.
Yeah, Bob does. Bob pulls it out and she kind of overlays it a little to show you how far the cave systems extend. And Darren can't really tell this, but it goes all the way to Ionaris, which Jacob has definitely heard of,
Oh my
which
fucking
isn't
god,
there
where the
anymore.
hell?
Yes, she says basically this is a whole underground
Civilization.
civilization, yes. We do not always get along. There are wars here. But for the most part, we are left in peace, and we generally dwell here. It's quiet, and we are able to fish. You should be careful about swimming, she says, as there are other things that lurk in the water, though.
Can I inquire as to what?
She tries describing a great white shark to you.
Okay. So fish with teeth. Okay.
3 rows of teeth, some of them at least as long as your fingers, she says.
Oh dear God. Okay. That
Some of them weigh around 2,000 pounds. They're good eating, she says. She gestures at the stew, which is pretty good, actually. Appears they grow their own herbs and spices or something because it's pretty well flavored.
2,000 pound fish with 3 rows of teeth and some big fuck off teeth on it.
Yes, they've been known to bite limbs off, she says.
Oh dear God.
But we have. Tries to think of the word.
Nets.
Well, we do have nets, she says, but also we have stuff that we rub on when we go swimming. It repels them.
Oh, deterrents.
If you're going to travel on, she says, we will get some to you.
Where's
We
my
can
guy?
probably spare a boat as well. If your desire is to get out of here, there are entrances to the upper world, she says, but the most recent change that happened, this world-altering event, has also changed those exits and entrances. I hear that there's a new city underwater, and she points to where Ionaris is on the map.
Well, fuck Darren. Does Darren know that that's Ionaris? Or Pale's Gate, whatever it is. Fuck it, he'll ask her, where exactly is she pointing at?
Ionaris.
That city was Ionaris last we knew, she says, but apparently that it's someone sank it below the ground and it is now part of this. There are ways to get there, she says.
And how exactly would one go about doing that?
Honestly, you would need a map like this. You would need someone who can sense directions while underground, which is not the simplest of things, she says. And you would need to travel a long way and quite likely have to interact with some of the other places where people live to get supplies and things, she says.
Yeah, I know how long it is. I've made the journey above ground twice.
Yes. She shrugs. Hard to say whether it's more dangerous to travel overground or underground right now. We have not gotten much word of the surface, but some of our priestesses have had visions after what happened.
So I can navigate via a map, but I am unable to sense the direction.
She nods. Well, you are obviously welcome to take a map, she says, or three. I assume you'll be moving on and not staying here.
If that is recently sunk, I think that may be the best chance to get out.
It is the only way I know leads to the surface right now, she says. There are undoubtedly others, but she gestures at the huge cavern.
Yeah,
Finding those entrances can be difficult.
and finding ones that can actually be traversed in reverse.
But she shows Jacob and Bob like how you would, where you are now and the waterways and stuff you would take to get there. It's a very long journey, she says.
Do you have a paper and quill or ink or a pencil or something I may borrow?
Of
Actually, no,
course.
I think I have a pencil.
Yeah,
I have a
got
pencil.
You have a pencil.
I would remember that. And do you have maybe a piece of paper or something I may borrow?
Certainly. She gestures at Lorsha, who produces a piece of paper for you.
Okay. I will sort of Google directions type thing of just write down the different turns and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm basically just gonna sat nav it
All right,
and just write down, the
I must
sort
go
of
for
turns
now.
and stuff.
I must go for now, says Adaru, but Lorsha can probably answer most questions that you have.
Thank you.
If I will come by to see you again later. Please enjoy the town, and if there are things you need, we can most likely provide them for you.
Thank you very much.
She stands and leaves. Lorsha just sits down at the table quietly.
Is it just the four of us now, or
Uh,
five of us? Because the
Five.
boys are there.
5. Yep.
Larsha, what
Yes.
god do you worship?
Bizarre, she says.
Bless you.
I assume that you worship an ath, she says.
Darren narrows his eyes, I guess.
Bizeth is her sister, she says.
Look it on.
Yes. They're both rather fond of Baal. Nothing like the fighting between Anath and Mawe, she says.
No, I've heard about that.
They get into sisterly arguments, but for the most part, they're fond of each other. Anath can be difficult for some people to get along with, she says. I have been told.
I mean, I find her very easy to get on with. Often when she don't listen to me.
Yes. The gods are like that, she says.
And they just.
Who knows what they're up to?
Yeah.
They're back. She says, we have worshipped without answer for a very long time. Shrugs. She looks like she's maybe 19. Only recently has Bethesda started answering our prayers again.
Have you heard her
So I
speak to
suppose
you?
she's not spoken to me, she says sadly, but I am not on the path to becoming a priestess.
What is your path?
I walk the path of the blade, she says proudly.
Right.
I just sort of rest my hand on the hilts, on the handles.
Yes, you see her look at your knives. Those are quite fancy looking, she says.
Yes, they were a gift.
May I see one?
Sure. And he will pull one out, flick it round, and hand it to her handle first.
She tests the balance, tests the edge. Ooh, very nice, she says. I assume you throw them.
Yes.
She hands it back.
I just sort of look at her and I'm assuming the weight gave it away.
Yeah, it's clearly balanced for throwing. She looks at it appreciatively and hands it back.
I just set it on the table and whistle.
That is a very fine weapon, she says. It leaps into your sheath. She looks surprised. Oh. Magic?
A small enchantment.
Impressive. Very handy if you're throwing them, I would imagine.
Yeah.
Perhaps I will, if you're interested, bring you to one of our blade classes to observe.
That might be nice.
Well, it is getting late, she says. Is there anything you need tonight?
I
Clothes,
feel
honestly.
he might need. I feel he might need a shirt.
Yeah, clothes would be nice.
All right, we can take care of that. Get a phone call. From
They have phones.
hello? Fucking scammers.
The IRS is calling you.
Oh yeah, I got one of those yesterday.
I got one of those, I got one actually yesterday, I think. Either yesterday or Wednesday.
I was like, why don't you give me your name? She's like, why? Because I'm gonna call the actual IRS and report you. She fucking hung up. I keep getting calls about my extended car warranty. I don't have a car. We just have Mora's car, which has no fucking extended warranty.
This was I got a call about car insurance the other day, and it's just like I don't even have a license to drive a car, let alone a car.
Yeah, I got one of the classic. You were involved in an accident. It's like, oh yes, I was. Oh my god, how did you know? Like, oh well, so when exactly did it happen? It's like, oh, last week. It's like, what date? And I gave him the wrong date. I gave him the date for the week that we're currently in. It's like, oh okay. So what happened? I was like, well, I was driving down the road, and a pedestrian stepped out, and I ran them down. I'm like, excuse me? Can you repeat that, please? I was like, I was driving down the road.
I did
And
manslaughters.
yeah, and a pedestrian stepped out, and I just ran them down. They hung up.
Dude, when I was younger, I met a lady that had happened to. She had gotten her license, and the first day she drove, someone jumped out in front of her car and she killed him. Somebody's kid.
Fucking hell.
And it was totally not her fault.
Yeah.
But she was like fucked up.
Yeah,
She
well,
never drove again.
I can imagine.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. Yeah, I've run over like someone's cat, and that was fucking made me feel like shit. It wasn't my fault, but like,
The only thing I've run over is a dead animal, like an animal that was already dead and like flat on the side, or not necessarily flat, but squished.
I've killed 2 deer with a car.
Yeah, I
Not fun.
ride a bike, so it's terrifying to accidentally hit something because any slight bit of slickness or movement or anything, and I'm going off.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the first
I
one
ran over I think it was a dead squirrel or something on the like that was put in the side of the in the middle of the road still, because obviously a car can't hit it if it's in the middle of the road.
Yeah.
But bikes are told always ride in the middle. So I saw it as like, oh shit, and I tried to move out of the way and almost went straight over my handlebars because I got stuck on it, slid out,
had to try and do emergency stop, which involves front brake first, almost went straight over my handlebars and managed to stop myself in like a weird sort of BMX stoppy move.
Yeah, that happened to me once, and I actually did a Aikido roll out of it, which I would not have thought I could do if you had asked me.
I wrote my first car off like after a month of passing my test.
The first deer I hit, I was driving to work and my shift started at midnight, and I hit a deer on some just roads in the middle of fucking nowhere, and it totaled the car, and it was about minus 15 out.
Oh, lovely.
And no one would answer their goddamn doors. This was before cell phones, so and I finally banged on some guy's door, and they had to have heard the crash too, right? Because it was fucking enormous.
Yeah,
this dude finally answers it, pointing a shotgun at me, and I'm like, "Whoa, dude! I was in an accident. Can I use your phone?" He's like, "No." Like, I'm freezing to death.
Yeah.
Finally stuck the phone out the door and just watched me with the shotgun the entire fucking time. Ugh. Anyway, wrecked my car. The deer did not die immediately either, which also was fucking terrible.
Yeah, hear it screaming.
Oh yeah. that was not a good night.
No.
Alright. Anyway, Lorsha leads you to a building where clearly, like, you think it's like a clothing shop, although they aren't charging her. She tells you to have a look around. They do have some like trousers and shirts and things like that.
No, Darren's trousers are fine. They're just a bit wet. He finds a shirt and he takes
What color would you like?
Fuck, I don't know. What colours are available?
Oh, they have a wide variety.
Such as?
Blue, green, purple, red, yellow.
Take it like a blue one, I guess.
Pretty nice. Pretty comfortable. You don't know exactly what it's made out of. Something cottony but softer.
He also takes a red one as well, just in case.
She tells you that they're partially waterproof.
That is not a good idea, actually.
Yeah, they will get a bit soggy if you're in for a long time, but they're probably a lot better than what you were wearing, she says.
Yeah. Can he look for like a long coat? Maybe not, like, basically a cotton duster, you know, like a long coat, a wool long coat?
The closest thing you find is a cloak.
I'll take that. Actually, can he... Well, see, there's ma'am, I guess, because there's no men.
Yeah, there's a woman she's just making some clothes in the back. She looks up.
How long does it take you to make clothes?
Depends on what you want, she says.
He describes in the best detail he can a long coat.
So similar to a cloak, she says?
Yeah, except it's a coat, so like buttons on the front.
Like this, and I just sort of pull mine out. Or, I mean, I'm probably holding onto it over my arm or something.
Yeah. Yes, I could make something like that pretty easily, she says.
How long is it going to take?
It depends. Do you want it dyed? Do you want it to be waterproof?
Waterproof would be nice, but I'm not really that. What color is natural?
Kind of gray.
That is fine.
Yes, give me a day or two, she says.
Okay,
I have some orders I'm working on.
I think we're going to be here for at least a day or two, so.
Yes. She does not look surprised to see you at all. Walking through the city, it would seem like word of you has spread everywhere.
Right. We're the only men around, so.
You're the only men around, and yeah. So you do catch. The people generally seem polite and unconcerned about you, but you can see some of their kids like stop and are like, "What?" Yes, give me 2 days, she says. Is there anything else you need?
Oh, shit. Is Darren still got his hat?
No.
Ah, you make me a hat.
She pulls out something that's looks kind of like a woolen winter hat type thing. Like this, she says.
No, he describes a flat cap as best he can.
Oh. Well, I don't have anything like leather to put on the front of the cap, she says.
Oh, that's fine. Cloth is fine.
All right.
Not gonna lie, that's actually a pretty dapper coat.
Oh no, I fucking love
She
it.
she does a sketch for you and has you correct it a couple times until she's pretty sure what you want.
Okay.
She looks at Jacob and Bob. Will you be needing anything, sirs? She says.
I mean, something kind of similar to the coat for him.
All right.
Somewhat similar. Different color, probably.
What color? She says.
What he was going just
Grey.
the default grey, wasn't he?
Yep.
Sort of a black, if that's possible.
Oh yes, she says. We have squid ink for that.
Okay, Minecraft.
Not too many people wear black here, she says, but yes, we can't make it. I had black squid ink risotto once. It just tasted like risotto.
Mm-hmm.
She sketches down and has you make any changes to the sketch that you want, so that you'll basically have what you want. The material is soft and on most people, it looks like it's been tailored. Otherwise, it's just kind of loose. She asks if you be wanting it fitted or if you're fine with just the looser garment.
Darren gets his fitted.
All right, she takes your measurements, which you probably had done before. Probably.
I have, yeah.
Darren?
Darren, I doubt it.
Yes, you have no idea. She pulls out this long tape and starts putting it on your shoulders and like from your shoulder to your arm.
Okay. Okay.
I'm measuring you so that it'll be fitted to you, she says.
Right.
This way I know how.
I just sort of look at him. It's normal.
She takes measurements. She looks at Jacob. Did you also want tailoring, or?
If you don't mind, yeah. And I will just sort of stand there, arms out, as the normal thing.
She takes measurements
Captain
as well.
Captain T pose.
She takes your measurements as well. Bob just gets a shapeless gray cloak.
Actually, there's one more thing. If you could do it right now, can you take the sleeves off this robe for me?
Sure, she says.
Darren takes the robe off. Stands there nude.
She does as you ask. Will there be anything else, she says?
No, I think that's everything from me anyway. After he puts the robe back on.
She nods and sits down and goes back to work. Lorsha asks if there's anywhere else you wish to visit before getting some rest.
Somewhere that I can get some oil.
Yes, we do have oil, she says. We extract it from the fish.
Alright. Okay.
She brings you to something like a general store.
Yeah, I mean, Darren's got no idea how it was extracted on the surface, let alone down here.
Yeah.
Well, it's because it's not extracted on the surface.
Refined on the surface, then.
Well, I mean, I think you're past the time where they were. No, they were probably still using whale oil and shit for lamps at this point.
Aha! There we go.
Well, that's still under. It's still collecting it from underwater.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, that's they're definitely getting it from something like a whale. Yeah.
Right,
So
I'll be
where-
right back. I just really need to pee.
All right. Yeah, I could use a quick break too. Let's
Okay.
take 5.
Yeah.
Right, I'm back.
Welcome back.
I'm back as well.
Welcome back.
So you're at the clothing store.
Yep.
You have pretty much finished your business, I believe.
Mm-hmm. We're heading off to the general store.
Yes. Okay. Yeah, it's not exactly a store, but there's just stuff here you're welcome to take, basically.
Okay.
Lorsha tells you to only take what you need, though.
Alright. Darren will take enough oil to basically fix his guns. Or oil his guns, all the steel.
Yeah.
And his knife.
Yeah, you're all gonna have to, clean those. All right. Yes, you're welcome to the oil. Bob asks if he can take a rope.
Yeah, Darren will ask that as well.
Yes, of course. It's woven out of the same kind of stuff.
How strong are these ropes?
Oh, quite strong, she says. They should be able to hold multiple people, depending on how heavy they are.
Alright.
I don't know what ropes are like where you come from, she says. Bob produces a rope from his backpack and shows her. Well,
You had a rope all this fucking time?
No, I held on to the one that's soggy.
Alright,
You
fine.
let it go. Bob was still hanging on to it.
I know, but
I mean, I still have the rest of the one he cut some off of.
Yeah, this rope was only about 30 feet long, too, because it was already cut earlier on. She tests it.
we didn't go back for the chest.
Hmm?
We didn't go back for the chest.
No.
Oh
you
my god. I had plans for that.
Maybe someday we'll get to the surface. This is why I said, if Jacob's gonna go,
Yeah, that's fine.
he's pretty much stuck with Darren at this point.
Yeah, that's fine by me.
Unless magic or something magicked him back. Bob.
Unless Crassus was just like, fuck it, I missed them.
Well, Darren gets pissed off and asks enough to get rid of you.
Bob stretches the hemp rope till you can hear it threatening to break, and then tries the stuff made out of their fabric. Seems about as strong, he says. Definitely easier to carry around.
Alright then, guess we'll take some of that rope.
Right. Is there anything else you want?
Oh, a lantern.
They do actually have lanterns.
Yeah. How much of the oil survived?
In your bag?
Mm.
I mean, it's inside, water skin type things, I assume, so it's fine.
Is it water skins or is it glass bottles?
I'm thinking water skins. Most people don't carry around oil in a glass bottle, I don't think.
Okay.
Seems like a bad idea.
Yeah, okay.
I wouldn't do it. Yeah. Alright. It's not made of leather, it's made of the same sort of stuff, but they seem to have applied something to the inside that keeps the oil from soaking through.
Okay. So he'll take some lantern oil as well, I guess. He'll take another pint. So, how much did he use last time?
Oil?
Yes.
Not
Yes,
very much.
No,
We established it lasted quite a long time.
Oh yeah. It's like an ounce per hour or something.
I think it's less than that. This would be like the fourth time I fucking looked this up in this campaign.
Yep. If you keep looking up, keep forgetting about it.
An oil burner, damn it. Oil lamp. Alright, 0.5 ounces per hour.
Okay, half an ounce per hour.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know. Imperial? How many ounces in a pint?
About 2 hours. 16.
Okay. So how we were down there for 6 hours. So that's 3 ounces.
Yep.
Okay, so that's
Still got 13 left.
yeah. So just because I've got it in pints, so fuck. So it's two and a half minus. Oh my god, maths work. It's Friday. It's Friday.
It's true.
Somebody do
That's the
maths.
16 per pint.
Yeah, and I've got 2.5. So that's two and 2 pints and 8 ounces. Use
Yep.
3 ounces, so that's 5 ounces left.
There you go.
All right.
So and then I get another pint, so that's 3 ounces and 3 pints, 3 ounces.
Yep. Write that down. Oh,
Um,
also, make
So
sure
if
you
you
know
wanted
exactly.
if you wanted it in just ounces, that's 51.
Thank you.
Well, 41. Sorry, 41.
Make sure you know exactly how much ammo you have. By the way.
Oh, I do, because we now don't have access to it.
Correct. We've returned to the
For fuck's sake, I was enjoying not having the auto.
I have ammo.
Yes. Jacob's fine. Bob doesn't seem overly concerned.
No, but he's got magic guns that you water and shit.
Yep.
I don't use a gun.
I'm not salty or anything.
I have 40. I have 44.
Oh, he's 45, so.
I have 44 and a 44 Magnum that I don't use.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything else you'll be needing? Asked Lorsha.
I don't have the book open, so I can't bother to check all that. What do I have that I might want? Are my matches still dry?
I'm just gonna say you probably put them in Bob's bag.
Amazing.
So yeah,
Okay.
pretty much anything that you could, you probably just throw in his bag
Mm-hmm.
if it was small enough.
So clothes, bedroll, tent, lantern. It's not broken.
Oh, that bedroll's soaked there.
Yeah, it's fine. Fuck it. You got a bedroll of sorts. Actually, no. How long would it take to dry? We're going to be here a couple of days, aren't we?
Yeah, no. She says no. We don't really have anything like that. But I can show you where you can dry them.
Yeah, that'd be fine. Thank you.
All right. She looks at Jacob. Need anything? Need anything else? She says to Jacob.
Not that I can think of at this moment.
No.
I'm assuming he still has his stones in his bag.
Yeah.
Then no. They're sufficiently wet as it is.
All right. She brings you back to the guest
Sorry.
house.
Is Darren's pocket watch still working?
Maybe. Let's make a roll. What do you think the odds it's working are?
Low, very low. It's.
All right. If this roll is a 9 or under, yes.
Okay, come on, crit success.
It's got water in it, but it doesn't look like broken. You think maybe if you dry it out, it might work?
Oh my god. Okay, yep. Sorry.
Bob just peruses, but doesn't really take anything.
Mm-hmm.
She leads you back to the house unless you wish to go somewhere else. Oh, Bob does grab one thing.
Oh, what's Bob
Some
grab?
fishing line and hooks.
Okay.
That's a good idea.
She nods approvingly. They also have fishing spears, but Bob leaves those alone.
So this is where I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
Just mechanically as whether or not it would work. If I was to stick a fish with my knife and then call the knife back, would the fish come with it?
It would have to be jammed in there something fierce.
Okay.
If it were a big, I don't know. I doubt it.
What if it
The
got
What
knife.
if
stuck?
I attached what if I attached a hook to the end of the end of the knife?
What if the
I-
knife got stuck in his sharp?
Just like
I don't
permanently
know if,
stuck.
I don't
Yeah.
know if it'd be able to lift that much.
It would not lift a shark. It would come out before it would
Okay.
bring it back. You have a feeling that that's probably how it would work on fishing in general anyway.
Like it couldn't lift a body off of it before, so
No,
True.
no.
Okay.
It could carry a spider.
That's about it.
that was pretty funny to be fair. You gotta admit that was pretty great.
No, it was good. I liked it. If there's nothing else, she says, I will lead you back. She brings you to the house and
Not that I
shows you
can think
to
of.
a pair of rooms and says, two of you will have to bunk up, and one of you will be with. The fuck was the kid's name?
I have a name for him in mind because
It
that's what
was
Darren does.
Bo something.
It was Belfast, something like that. Beldast.
I remember Guillermo kept coming into the situation, but that
Well,
was changed.
Yeah, no, I was just kidding about that. All right, his name is just Bill.
Alright, Bell.
Yeah, one of you will have to bunk with Bill, but
Darren will.
all right.
You see Sir Jacob's face just go, oh, okay.
She brings you to a small room where there's like a grate in the floor and there's hot air coming up through it.
Okay.
Shows you where you can like hang your stuff to dry.
Sweet.
This
Darren.
room will.
Darren does that then. He hangs his shit.
Yeah, same.
All right. If there's nothing else, I will bid you a good night, she says.
Right.
Good night, man.
If you get hungry or anything, there's some more stew left, she says.
Thank you.
Thank you.
With that, she bids you a good evening.
Bedtime.
Indeed. Unless you want to do something else.
Darren spends the time to meticulously tear down his guns and oil them.
All right. A
And then
good
he goes to
idea.
And he does the same with his knife as well, sorry.
Yeah. All right.
Jacob
wake up.
does his knives in the morning, like
Wait.
always.
Wait, so sorry.
What?
When Darren goes to the room, is the kid still, well, not the kid, the boy, the young man is still awake?
Yeah. You can hear
How
him.
old is he?
You can hear him crying. He's about 19.
Jeff, you gonna cry all night?
You are answered by a sob.
Come on, boy. What is ailing you?
My sister, he says. My family.
I mean, she
I've
might.
never been out of Dodge, he says.
I mean, technically, you ain't out of Dodge. You was under it.
This does not appear to comfort the boy.
Darren doesn't do comfort.
That's why I went, oh god, when he said that he was gonna go.
It's just because I want to call him Jeff. nobody has their real name with Darren.
Bob asks Jacob a few questions since he doesn't know him at all. So he asks where you're from.
I just sort of answer everything. I don't even remember where he's from personally.
Was he in the war?
I don't remember. I don't even remember whether or not I've actually got a full blown backstory written out for him anywhere.
You're certainly aware of the Civil War.
Yeah, no, he's aware of it.
What brought him to Dodge? Just
He was doing his typical bounty hunter-y thing.
okay.
And then the sheriff asked him to help out with something, which is when he got given the knives.
Bob asks if he can check out the knives.
Sure. And I'll sort of pull one out and hand it to him. Handle first.
Checks it out.
Remember that these are ludicrously sharp because he does it every morning.
You don't even need to. They're just magically fucking sharp.
I know he does it out of habit. It's more of like it's like a how people have like their
Yep.
morning ritual type thing.
This would be a quirk, which you would get a point for.
What, having a morning ritual type thing?
Yeah, you're allowed 5 points of quirks if you.
I've already got 5.
Yeah. That would be an example of a quirk like that.
I suppose attentive can come under that.
Yeah. You could be specifically attentive to your weapons.
Well, that and the fact I've got likes shiny knives.
Oh, yeah, that works too.
So he keeps them in very good condition.
Bob hands it back and then pulls a knife out to show you. It's say the style is.
You said his name was Samurai Bob, right?
Yep.
I'm assuming it's some form of tanto then.
It is not.
Huh.
Should know this off the top of my head. It's a karambit.
Oh, okay. Been a while
Yeah.
since I've seen one of those. And he just sort of starts flicking it, like the thing around the ring around the finger, and just starts flipping it around.
No. Bob hasn't handed it to you yet. He says no.
Okay.
Let me show you. Hope they don't mind. He goes to the bed and slices a small bit off the bed frame. The knife goes through it like it's just butter.
Okay then.
Be very, very careful with the edge, he says. And
Fair enough.
Lets you see it.
Just sort of do like the thing of spinning it around.
It's definitely not balanced for throwing. Bob tries to explain to you how this knife works, but other than it being real sharp, you're not sure you get it. He tells you it's basically a mono blade where it's only a couple molecules thick on the edge.
Huh.
It'll cut through practically anything, he says.
So it's like the sort of level of sharpness of like an obsidian blade.
No, this would be like a cyberpunk, like, literally, yeah, those are about that sharp, but they are easily breakable.
Yeah.
But yeah, similar to that. He explains it.
Because the only thing I know about obsidian is that when it's properly, what's the word? Hewn? Is that the thing where like you? Is that what they used to do with flint for arrows?
They chip it. I don't remember what the.
Yeah, there's a specific thing for it where you basically chip it to the point where it's like a ridiculously sharp edge.
Yeah.
Some doctors, when performing certain surgeries, will still to this day use obsidian over scalpels because they are just ludicrously sharp.
Rarely. They have considered it more. It's just that they're worried about fragments of it coming out in the.
Yeah, but it's like when it's properly done. Supposedly, it's sharp enough to cut between the strands of DNA.
Yeah, they're insanely sharp. It's just their worry about
insanely fragile on the edge. Though obsidian is not strong whatsoever.
Oh yeah, no, it's not strong by any means, but apparently they are sharp enough to cut through not necessarily through molecules, but like the space between DNA.
No, they're incredibly sharp. Fair enough, but I doubt they still use it as much as what you might think, just because of how delicate it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I read an article on it recently where they were like, yeah, we kind of want to use it for that, but
just because it would mean it would mean that if it wasn't as fragile as it is, it would certainly make some surgeries safer.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Just because of how ludicrously sharp it is.
Bob closes
so I'm assuming it's something along that line.
Yes. He says it can cut through metal, stone. Not the point though, just the edge, he says.
I'll
Be sure to keep that edge away from me then.
Yes.
And I will sort of just hand it back to him handle first and not hold the blade. I'll just sort of be holding the handle and just like palm out sort of thing.
He closes the blade into the handle and puts it back on his belt. Well, I guess it's rest time, he says.
Yeah, I guess so. Alright. Speak to you in the morning then.
So, can Darren continue to talk to Jeff?
Mm-hmm.
Son, you gonna keep crying on this? Just god damn.
You guys can probably hear. You can hear Darren in the next room.
Y'all system might be dead, but she's she's in a better place. Not in that shithole that we left her in.
What if she's inside that thing, he says.
Well, just, be grateful that she ain't gonna come back as the undead, if that is the case.
He looks horrified, as if he had not considered this.
Does Darren notice? Does he care?
He notices. Does he care? Probably not.
Lots happened. He's not that bothered. So, you gonna get any sleep tonight?
I don't know, he says. This has been the worst day ever.
See, do I be a dick? And do I try and choke him out so he goes to sleep?
I don't make a bad temper rule.
Oh, what? He's not angry.
You're wondering if you wanted to choke him out.
That's a success. That's a 7.
Alright.
So,
Darren might be slightly aggravated with him, but he's not.
So, you either go to sleep or I swear to God I'm gonna hurt you.
He looks shocked and turns over and puts the blanket over his head.
Doesn't muffle the sobbing.
Yeah, you can still catch a few muffled sobs, but not much. Alright, anything else before you sleep?
No, he's done his guns, his knife, and he's spoken to Jeff, tried to implant that's his new name. No, that's it. He goes to sleep.
Alright. You guys wake up in the morning.
Okay.
Lorsha is in the kitchen area serving up some breakfast.
So when Darren wakes up, is Jeff still there?
Yes. He's asleep.
Do I wake him up? No, I'll let him sleep.
Alright. Bob is out having a drink of some beverage and eating some breakfast.
Morning.
Breakfast is some sort of flatbread type substance and some lightly fried fish.
Lasha was, yeah?
Yes, she says.
Got him all that wine from last night?
Oh, yes, she says.
Please.
Do you require it for religious reasons?
Well, as a matter of fact, I do, yes.
Oh, I see, she says. She fetches you a bottle.
Dear God, that fucking worked. Says under his breath.
Bob nods at you.
Morning.
They have some kind of tea type stuff, he says. But I see that you've already selected your drink of choice.
Has tea got alcohol in it?
Nope.
Fuck that then.
Says, taking a sip. Not sure I want to ask what it's made from.
Fish guts, no doubt.
Screw it, I'll ask.
Lorsha tells you that they grow some plants that they use for making tea underground.
Does she come back with wine?
Oh yeah, she already gave it to you.
How much? How much?
It's the bottle from last night. There's only like a couple glasses missing. Well, it's about half empty.
That's fine. Darren just drinks it straight from the bottle. Oh shit! Wait. Now, bless me and these other guys and shit. Just take a drink.
Let's see if Annette heard this prayer. You feel mildly blessed.
Yes.
Or maybe it's just the wine.
I was about to say you feel mildly blessed or slightly drunk.
That's fucking amazing. Didn't intend for that, but yeah.
The wine is some sort of fortified wine like port.
It's fine. Darren's, he's down on whiskey, so he's going for the wine.
Oh yeah. No, this stuff is what's port like 20-25% alcohol.
What was the other woman's name?
A
Holiday or something like that?
Darren's already
Daru, I think.
That's the one. Something like that. Is she here?
Yes. She's not here yet, but as you're finishing up eating, she arrives. Good morning, she says.
Morning.
Morning.
I had a strange question for you.
Certainly,
And
she says.
I understand this is a very weird thing to ask. You mentioned that your faith helps you to reproduce without men.
Indeed, she says.
Are there other things that it helps with?
Of course. Now, yes. We have a religious order, she says.
Is it something that it could help with regards to a physical change?
I think you'd have to be more specific, she says.
Would you be able to, say, example of fix someone's eyesight?
We have healers, yes, she says. It depends on the injury, of course, but...
If it wasn't necessarily an injury, but a disfigurement, so to speak.
Would need more information, she says. It is possible for our greatest healers to start the regrowth of things that have been cut off sometimes, she says.
So, clarification-wise, I cannot see color.
Do you explain that to her?
Yeah.
Oh, I do not know if we could help with that, she says. That is not so much healing as modifying the body.
Okay. I thought best to at least ask.
Our rights that allow us to reproduce and whatnot are ancient and specific, she says. We generally do not perform other modifications.
I understand. I thought best to at least ask, because you never know if you don't ask.
She nods. So, let us talk. What are your plans? Obviously, we are okay with you guesting here for a while, but, I assume you will be moving on.
Sort of turn to Darren. So?
Well, oh shit. Darren's just sitting there with a bottle of wine, so it's like, oh, fuck, I don't fucking know. I came here for him. Gestures back to the room where he left Jeff.
She will not be able to return the same way, she says.
No.
So, you will need to make your plans.
You got
we will help you if we can.
I mean, you got somewhere I can pray? Of
course, she says.
I guess that is the first protocol.
I do not think Bezeth would mind if you came to our temple, she says.
I hope not.
She looks at Jacob. Lorsha tells me you wish to see our blade work.
I'm assuming that I missed some of that.
Oh. Lorsha asked if you wanted to see their knife classes or whatever their blade classes are yesterday. So she's just saying Lorsha told her that and wondering if you wanted to go see that.
That would certainly be of interest, yes.
It starts early, so now would be a good time to go.
Okay.
Lorsha can bring you there.
I will be back in one moment. Then he just sort of wanders back in, grabs his coat, and then puts his belt on and whatnot.
Bob says he wants to check this out as well.
I got praying to do, so I'll leave that to you too.
Fair enough.
Lorsha leads the two of them off, and Adaru asks if you want to go to the temple now, Darren.
Yeah, if don't mind. Darren's just downs the rest of the wine. He's wearing his gun belt and got his knife in him and everything. And the shotgun and rifle.
She raises an eyebrow. Adaru raises an eyebrow at the wine. Is this a custom of your people?
Why, yes it is. Our holy people do this all the time.
Does it help you get you in touch with your god, she asks?
Yes it does.
I see. Well, if you need more for your holy rites, she says, we can give you a bit.
I feel like I need to roll just to see if he accepts it. That's a 4, so... no, I think this is probably enough now. I gotta drink it before I do the praying rather than during, you know.
I meant to take on your trip with you, she says.
Oh, in that case, yes, please, yes. Do not mind.
I'm sure we can gather some.
As much as you can spare, please.
Supplies.
Of course.
And with that, she leads you to the temple, which is certainly the fanciest building in town. It appears to be made out of, white marble.
Okay.
It's fairly large, and are quite a few women inside.
Mm-hmm.
They are, no one is speaking, though. They appear to be meditating or quietly praying.
Mm-hmm.
Adaru gestures to an empty space and doesn't say anything.
He whispers, "You're not speaking here."
Only prayers, she says quietly in his ear.
Right. Got like an altar or something I can use?
Yes, there's an altar up at the front.
Alright, thank you.
Alright. Darren, what does Darren pray?
So he spends a while in prayer, and he also takes out his knife and he sort of cuts his hand and lets a few drops of blood spill on the altar.
Okay.
And then he goes, "Dear Earth, I found myself underneath the land, kind of like where I first found you. I guess I'm lost. Don't really know where the fuck to go, what to do. That monster thing that I asked you to kill, I don't know if it's dead or not, but the girl probably is. Found the boy. He's struggling. If you can help him, that'd be nice. Much appreciate that. But I guess the main issue is, where the fuck do you want me to go? How the fuck do I get out of here, and how do I do your bidding?"
Alright, well that was a 4.
Oh my god.
You get a sudden vision of another underground place. And here you see Zed.
Oh no.
He is amidst an underground city, and he appears to be having troops trained.
No.
There's a large underground cavern not filled with water, and you can hear the blacksmiths forging weapons and smell the smoke from their fires. Hundreds of men are drilling.
Fuck. Wait, hundreds of men?
Yes.
Do I see any women?
Yes.
No,
But
okay.
mostly they're just attending to the men.
Yeah.
Most of the men are either like in full-blown production for a war or like training.
Yeah, okay.
And Zed is watching over them with a
Do I get any sense of where it is?
Yes.
Where?
Near Iris.
Right.
Since it is still a large distance away, but you can definitely see that Zed has preparations underway.
Mm-hmm.
And it looks like they're planning to take the underground tunnels and lakes.
This is not good.
Rather than going overland.
Yeah.
You hear an Aft's voice once. A war is coming, Darren. A war you cannot afford to lose.
Okay.
And then silence. You feel vaguely euphoric.
Psst. Really? Because right now I'm feeling anything but that.
Just from being so close to Anat.
Yeah.
Rarely do you feel her as strongly.
Mm-hmm.
Rarely does she directly tell you what she wants.
Mm. Okay.
You're beginning to sense that maybe it's easier to get in touch with her down here.
Okay. Darren will stop his prayer. He'll turn to face... Oh, I forget her name. I've heard it 3 times now, still can't remember it.
Adaru.
Adaru. Okay. Turn to face Adaru. There was... He's got a massive grin on his face as well, so she can now see his teeth. That was...
She blinks but says nothing about the teeth.
That was... exhilarating.
I could feel her presence, she says.
Oh yeah, she was here, right?
Interesting. Usually only Bazette speaks here.
Yeah, I guess you could say I got a special relationship with him now.
Indeed. She leads you out of the temple.
I
So as
got...
not to disturb the people praying.
I got some thinking to do, but then we gonna need to have to talk.
She nods. I will be available this evening.
Yeah, that'll do.
She explains that her job is largely administrative.
Right.
Making sure that things function smoothly, that they have the supplies they need, that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm. If you
Administering justice also falls to her.
Okay. Right.
The worm folk, she says to you. We wish to be rid of them. We have no desire to feed them. Unless you object, I shall have them leave the city. We will give them a small boat.
I mean, I feel like that's
it is not our way to simply toss people into the lake, she says, unless they have committed a great crime.
Could I go and see them?
If you wish, she says. We have yet to be able to decipher what language they speak. I believe it's a corrupted version of an old tongue.
Yeah, I better speak my own, let alone theirs, but I might get through somehow.
Well, Lorsha has taken your friends to the Blade Clash, she says. I do do not have time to personally take you to them, but I will get someone to bring you there.
Ah, thank you.
She grabs a young woman who's leaving the temple. Minette, she says, please take this gentleman to visit our worm men. She looks surprised, this Minette, but nods. It is underground, she says.
Underground,
Come with me.
underwater, what? Yeah, I'm not even gonna start that conversation again because I do not understand
it. She smiles. She brings you to where they're located. It's in a small underground cave that they have barred off. There's a like a gate you can unlock. The worm people are in here looking miserable. There's food and water on the ground, but they're not partaking of it. They look at you, and a few look afraid and some look angry. They start jabbering at each other in whatever language they speak, and one of them points at you, and you would guess he's swearing at you. Just from the body language.
Son, I don't understand a word y'all saying.
Yes, says Minette. We have not been able to figure out what language they speak. Occasionally we run across their kind, these fools who worship monsters, she says.
So, whilst she's saying that, can Darren pray silently in his head? I know he's got a reduced success rate by doing that, but still. I go, there now, I'm trying to talk to these women call them worm folk. There's one that worship monsters. Could you just help me out right quick?
You feel an acceptance.
Okay.
Their jabbering turns into something more sensible, although it's still... They don't seem real bright to you.
Yeah, that's fine.
The guy's calling you a cocksucker or something similar to that.
Boys, can you just shut the fuck up right quick?
He looks so surprised that he stops.
Alright then. Now.
Speak, he says.
Yes, now shut the fuck up. Right. You boys, gonna answer my questions right quick. What the fuck's gonna happen to that girl that you had in that cage? She dead?
She will ascend to the heavens, he says.
So that tentacle thing is eating her then.
She's been blessed.
So she's been eaten then, yeah. Yeah?
Yes, that is the greatest of blessings, he
Right,
says.
okay, yeah, you can kill them in a minute. He turns to Manette. Alright, look. How many other tentacle monsters are there down here, would you say? How many other gods do you worship? False gods, but still gods.
Who are you asking?
The one, man.
Confused. There must be only one, he says.
Why must there be only one?
The most powerful thing in the world.
And yet I nearly killed it though, didn't I?
Rubbish, he says.
Son, you was there. You're not here roaring in pain.
It will feed upon your soul, he says.
See,
I curse you.
Does Darren have anything, a prayer that he can use?
He starts making some gestures and points at you and says some shit that still doesn't make any sense.
Can Darren reach him through the bars?
Yes, but he's far enough back that you wouldn't be able to grab him.
Can he touch him?
unless he comes closer.
Okay. That's not gonna work.
The Minette is looking confused. Do you speak their language? She says.
I mean, I must admit, I kind of missed everything you just said because I was praying to Enough and she's granted me a bit to talk to these fuckers. Oh, the question I was gonna ask, I forgot what it was. There's a reason why I fucking did this. Aha, So he turns back to the worm man. See the symbol on my forehead? Yeah?
He nods.
Did you know who put that there? You know what that means.
Shakes his head.
Right. You looking forward to dying?
I will fight you, he says.
That ain't what I asked.
I will kill you and feed you to my god, he says.
Can you swim?
What is swim, he says.
Well, you go in the water and you don't die.
We would never go in the water, he says.
Yeah,
Water.
I think that's about to change. Darren moves
The
back
water is holy, he says. It is where our God dwells.
It turns to that. You ain't got any water on you, do you?
Any water, she says.
Yeah, if you don't mind.
Hands you a water flask.
He just throws it over the guy.
He gestures rudely, apparently.
So, he turns back to me now. So, according to the rules of this city, I cannot hurt this guy, can I?
No, she says. You would need Adaru's approval, and she would not grant it. They will be leaving, she says. We are preparing to make them leave today.
Fine.
They will get a small boat and a few provisions. We do not expect them to live, but they will have a chance.
I guess that's everything now. They didn't give me nothing that I wanted.
They are certainly unsuited to stay here, she says.
Yeah.
With a bit of a disgusted look.
Mm-hmm.
What did he say to you?
Nothing that helps me.
Their kind tend to be
dumb as fuck.
Poorly educated, she says.
As I said, dumb as fuck.
Dumb as fuck. She kind of laughs a little bit at the dumb as fuck. Yes, they not exactly well educated or traveled in our experience. We do occasionally run across their type.
Well, when they fall out of that waterfall, yeah.
No, when we're traveling about, she says. There are more of these, I guess you would call them cultists, she says.
I don't really know what the fuck they are.
They do not worship a proper god, so it is hard to describe. Generally, they try to capture people and feed them to their deity, and if they cannot, they feed their own to them.
Yeah, I think I've come across something like that before.
Yeah. There are, definitely more enlightened places where people live here, she says, but these, she gestures, none of us who speak are fond of them.
No.
They would as soon feed me to their whatever they worship, she shrugs.
Yeah, if it weren't for your leaders' rules, I would have already hurt them to the point of death.
She nods. They will most likely die. They are not well suited to being outside of the place they live.
No, they're not.
They tend to have rudimentary skills, she says. In any case, sir, would you like to go somewhere else?
I mean, are you busy today?
Adaru has asked me to show you what you would like to see.
I guess just around.
Switch over to Jacob and Bob now.
Okay.
Lorsha leads you to a large building. Inside, there's a sandy floor, and people are practicing fighting with various weapons. Mostly blades. You see a few staves and spears, though.
Are they using blunt ones, or are they just practicing with actual ones? Like, are they sparring, or are they just against like targets and stuff?
It varies. Different groups are doing different things. Some of them are clearly like better trained, like, you know, some of them are very good. There's also like a beginner type class where it's younger women. The more advanced classes are probably the more interesting ones, and they are practicing with knives that are dull but have like something that comes off and leaves black marks when you get hit with it.
Yeah, so they're like inked instead.
Something like that, yeah.
Like how some places will do knife sparring with paintbrushes.
Yeah, I used to do it personally with like a marker.
Yeah, I was about to say, I know a couple of places that used to do it with markers. Like the big whiteboard markers.
Yep. Yeah, we used them. It's stuff that would come out of the uniforms, but yeah. That was always a fucking joke. Karate teaches a bunch of like fucking knife defenses, and I was taking knife fighting and karate, and I would do the marker thing, and none of that shit works.
Yeah.
People will just get cut up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they
well,
are.
It's better to be cut than to be stabbed.
It depends.
Well, yeah, I suppose. Depends on where you're being cut.
If someone, cuts your femoral artery or,
Yeah, but it's like if someone's trying to stab you in the center of the chest or like stab you in the gut or something, I'd rather be cut there than stabbed.
Yes, exactly. But it depends. They are doing both point and edge work. They, you are at this point watching, you guess, the more advanced people because they're probably the most interesting to watch.
Yeah.
They appear to be, they have a style that seems defensive with lots of feints and deceptive attacks, but
so
the more aggressive
old
ones,
school more like old school knife, like old school dagger fighting.
Similar to that. But there's also a big emphasis on cuts to the throat and the femoral artery, stuff like that.
So sort of like a weird mixture between dagger fighting and Krav.
Yeah, so they're doing like it's defensive, but when they actually go in, it's for
it's brutal.
Yeah, it's serious.
So yeah, it's Krav. It's defensive in nature, but brutal as fuck.
Yeah, they're actually quite good too. Bob looks vaguely impressed. Not bad, he says.
Yeah, it's a very what's the word? Decisive style.
Mm-hmm. Would work quite well with my knife, but I'm not lending.
Not necessarily with mine.
No,
mine aren't necessarily weighted for that.
I guess you prefer thermal, he says.
Yeah, they are weighted for that.
No.
That's where my specialty lies. So
I hope I don't get to the point where that's what I have to do, he says, patting one of the guns at his belt.
I mean, I sort of put the hand on the handle of the revolver. And I mean, I have that just in case, but I'm not as comfortable with it.
Thankfully, he says.
So does Lucia notice because of what Darren said?
Notice what?
That, they're talking about the gun as if it's a weapon. Darren is like, no, they're just,
decorative.
Decorative pieces.
No, she seems pretty absorbed. Like this is her thing. Like normally she would be doing this.
And you said that about yours.
True. Just on double check.
Yeah. She seems pretty intently like studying the more advanced stuff that you're also looking at.
So I sort of turn to her while she's standing there. So, is this something you practice as well?
Oh yes, she says.
Oh. Well, how do you find it?
Normally I would be part of this class, but since I'm showing you around, I will be back tomorrow, I hope.
Sorry for the noise. Moving something. So I'm assuming there's not much in the way of ranged combat here.
No, she says. Typically not. It's typically not necessary within the city itself, and while we do practice these arts very seriously, it has been quite some time since we actually engaged in, raids or a war. We are fairly self-sufficient and don't generally need to ransack other cultures, she says disdainfully.
Still best to be prepared if you ever did come under attack.
Yes, we have, people try to raid us, she says. So we do this. Sometimes we run into those cultist type people that preceded you, she says. They're not terribly good fighters, but they do come in numbers sometimes.
Sometimes numbers is all you need.
She nods.
Which is unfortunate. I mean, I was saying before that my forte is throwing knives, only by a tiny bit as well. So, I mean, I've still got a pretty good normal knife skill.
Yeah. There's also some people practicing with swords and some staff spear stuff going on.
Mm-hmm.
I hope one day to learn the sword, she says. But for now, I am in the advanced knife class.
The sword is never something I've personally looked into. I find myself more able to use knives sufficiently. Or efficiently, sorry.
Well, a knife will do. I have some of the knife students, some of the masters, she says, can take out a swordsman with just their knife. We have some truly skilled practitioners, she says.
Yeah, sometimes the smaller weapons do give a certain finesse.
Yes, if you can get in close, it becomes difficult for them to use a sword, especially if you can tie up one of their arms and then use your other hand to stab them, she says, or cut them.
Or if you tied up their arm with a knife.
Yeah, you can see them also doing...
At which point he sort of just goes, I've been there, and rolls up his sleeve, and sort of there's just like a stab wound in his arm, where someone stabbed him and held his arm with it.
She nods. She has some scars on her forearms that are clearly like defensive wounds.
Yeah, his arms are like covered. I mean, he's 30% scars. Like his arms look like they're just ruined.
I take it you yourself have studied quite a bit, she says.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of these are from work. A lot of them are from practice. When first learning to throw knives, losing the grip on the backswing tends to involve the knife going back into your arm.
She nods. We do not place great emphasis on throwing the knives because they tend to get lost in the water, she says.
Yeah, I can understand that. That's why I trained to make sure they stick in something.
You do see them doing some spear throwing practice, though. They have some javelins and whatnot.
They might be a little bit easier to recover since they probably float.
Yeah. You see a particularly wicked one that's it's kind of like a harpoon.
Oof.
Sometimes those are used for fishing, she says, but we also have weapons. Well, you can imagine getting stabbed with one of those is not a good way to spend your day.
Yeah, probably not, considering I imagine it probably does more damage on the way back out.
Yes, she says. Also, usually we poison them.
Well, that does certainly help.
They are only for fighting men.
As I'll just look back to her, I'm assuming this is only hostile men, right?
Oh yes, she says.
Okay.
We are not violent unless we are given a reason. To walk the path of the blade is to hold other people's lives in your hands, she says.
Yep. It's a much more visceral experience than any form of range.
Bob is just silently watching.
Sort of just pull one of the knives out and start just like flipping it in my hand.
All right. Okay, back to Darren.
Yep.
Where was Darren hit?
Around. He's just wasting time in the city.
She leads you around. A lot of the upper city is, living space.
Mm-hmm.
There, various store type places and the temple and whatnot.
Okay.
It's sizable. Have you been to? Why is my brain not working?
A place?
The place in Italy that's just a fucking...
In which case, no. I haven't been.
God damn it. I can't believe I can't remember this. My brain is not working.
It's getting kind of late, so...
Yeah, we'll wrap up pretty quick. God damn it. It's the place where they do glass blowing and shit. Venice.
No, I haven't been.
Similar to Venice.
Okay.
You can walk. It takes you
like
about...
Shit.
It's nicer smelling. Actually, Venice didn't stink when I was there.
I was about to say, Venice isn't too bad.
You managed to walk...
only been once, and that was just a passing through thing.
Yeah, I'm taking the piss.
Well, honestly, you can see all of Venice in a day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, mine was about 2 hours because it was just a passing through thing on the way out.
That place, holy shit. I went to sit down somewhere and they were like, "Are you gonna order?" And I'm like, "I just wanted to sit." And they're like, $10 to sit here. It was such a tourist trap.
Yep.
We do actually, Maura and I got a wedding gift from there. That was blown glass, though. We have like a wine decanter and some wine glasses. Cool. They're really neat.
I've only got one item that's blown glass, and I have a glass badger.
Oh, nice.
That my mum bought me a long time ago.
Venice has islands on the outside where they do the glass blowing, and you can go visit them and watch them do it.
Oh, and a glass penguin. My mum bought me that.
Nice.
It's because when I was younger, I was obsessed with penguins.
So she walks you around, the outside in particular. Takes you most of the day to see everything.
Okay.
So meanwhile, the other guys, I assume at some point you leave the knife class. It's about time to wrap up, though. Let's say you all gathered back at the guest house for dinner.
Mm-hmm.
So you eat. Is there anything you guys want to address before we end?
Not that I can think of.
I just need to remember. I've got one thing, but it's kind of big, and it's probably going to be better to do it next session.
Well, say what it is. That way, at least I'll maybe get some prep for it.
What's the name of the leader again? I am struggling to remember her name. Adara. I will try to remember this. It took me. How long did it take me to remember the guy that I ended up killing in the first session? Like, how long did it take me to remember his name?
Forever.
Yeah. So Adara. Like, yeah. See, I don't need to remember her name. That's the problem. Darren doesn't remember names. Okay, Adara.
I'll just.
No wonder he calls everyone Bob.
Yeah, Bob and Jeff. So, Adaru.
Yes, she has shown up for the evening meal.
Also, I put Jacob's coat in there as well.
How likely would you be to lend basically everyone you got to go to war?
She looks shocked. War? With who?
You aware of a thing called Zed?
A thing, she says?
Yeah, I don't rather know what he is. Looks like a man, but don't think he is a man. He's powerful though. He's kind of like a mage sort of thing. Very fucking powerful though. Like, probably the most powerful thing I've ever seen.
There was myths of a man with that name, she says, kind of associated with your goddess and some others. But in the myths, he was once a good man, but went terribly bad, to the point that the gods cast him out of their society.
Does that... that makes sense to me, but does it make sense to Darren? I remember that, but...
Well, Zed did tell you that he'd actually, like, been at parties with an ass and stuff.
No, I remember that, but the bit where he's been cast out. Did someone tell him that? Because I think you told me, but does Darren know?
No, I don't think Darren knows that.
Okay.
Zed just was rubbing it in your face that he fucking knew Anath, but he didn't tell you about it.
Yeah. I mean, that sounds kind of like the guy. But I mean, he is raising an army at the moment. That is what Anath showed me at the temple this morning.
I could feel her presence, she says.
Oh yeah, she spoke to me.
Do you know where he is?
Near Anaris.
It's very far from here, she says. We are not a warlike people, but as you have seen, we can defend ourselves.
Yeah, I heard Lasha mention a couple times the way of the blade, so I assume that you fight. That you
yes,
can't
all of our people are taught the path of the blade, although only some make it their life's work, she says. But all of our young women even have some experience in knife work. Lorsha here has killed 2 people, she says. Lorsha she blushes. They weren't very well trained, says Lorsha.
So I just need to make a roll.
That takes nothing away from it.
I want to see if Darren's a dick or not. Does he roll bust as well? That's a 7. Fuck it, he's gonna say it anyway. 2 people? Is that it? God damn.
She nods.
Right. Okay.
To be fair, they don't exactly see combat at the rate we do, Darren.
I mean, I've killed
Lorsha has only been in one battle, says Zadaru.
I'll kill more people than that outside of combat. But anyway, that is neither here nor there right now.
Yes, but you are an odd one.
Shut the fuck up.
We are ejecting the worm folk, she says, if you wish to be there for that.
Can I kill them?
She shakes her head.
Well,
once both you and they have left our city, you may do what you will, of course.
Right.
We will provide you with supplies and a boat as well.
Of course.
We will provide you with a bit more supplies, she says and winks.
Right, thank you.
Alright. We're gonna wrap up here. Yeah. You guys got any questions?
I'll end the stream quickly.
Goodbye, stream.
Bye, stream. I'm not there yet. Still. Bye, stream.